Hello, welcome everyone. Today we are doing worksheet on straight line. Last time we have done the theory on it, and today we'll be doing questions on graphs of a straight line. Like before that, I want to say that if you want to enroll yourself for any demo for any subject from year 1 to year 13, you just have to drop us an email at exactacademy@gmail.com. And right now for A levels and for GCSEs, we are running the doubt sessions. Like if you have a doubt in a particular question, in particular topic, and even for all the exams that are right now running. So what you need to do is just drop us an email at exactacademy@gmail.com. Just drop us your query and we'll coordinate accordingly. Okay, so let me start with this one. The first question says find the gradient of the following lines. So we have already done this in our previous class. So what we need to do is you have to pick any point. Let me pick this point. I want to move from this point to this point. Like it's completely on me which 2 points I want to select. So I have selected this one. Or what I can do, I can select this point, this one, and I can select this one, because doesn't matter which 2 points you're selecting, you're always going to get the same gradient or for a straight line only. So how, again I'll be saying from which point to which point you are moving, it's totally on you. If you want to move from this point to this point, it's fine. If you want to move from this point to this point, it's fine. In both the cases you'll get the same answer. So I'm starting to move from this point. This is my starting journey. Obviously if I'm starting, I need to move from here to reach here. So first I need to, and I can only move horizontally and vertically, because gradient is what? Change in y over change in x. So how much y I have to move? It's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. I moved 8 boxes in negative direction because I'm moving downwards. Downwards y-axis is definitely negative, so negative 8 blocks over. Then I have to move 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 8 blocks towards right. But this is positive. Obviously if you're moving in right direction, like not in left is negative x-axis, right is positive x-axis. So if I'm moving towards right axis or right side of the x-axis, it would be positive. Answer is negative 8 over 8. That's negative 1. Next I have to do same thing, that is change in y over change in x. Take the 2 points. Let me pick this point and this point. So how much I have to move? Same. I can move from this to this or this to this. It's totally on me. So what I'm doing, I'm just selecting this point. So how much I have to move? 1 2 3 4 5. 5 blocks in negative direction. So negative 5 over. Then 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. 9 blocks I have moved towards left side, that is negative x direction. So negative 9. My final gradient is 5 over 9. Moving on to the next one. Here I'm selecting this point and this point. If I'm moving from this point to this point, how much am I moving in y direction? Positive direction. It's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. It's basically 8 blocks I am moving. Okay, this one, if I'm selecting from here, then this would be 9 blocks over. How much am I moving in x direction? There is no x direction, it's only vertical. I'm not moving horizontally at all, so nothing. That means this is undefined. Something divided by 0 is infinity, or we can say undefined. Even if you type in calculator, you'll get a maths error. So this is undefined, so you can't define the gradient for this line. Let me pick this one. I'm taking this one and this one. So how much am I moving? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. I'm moving 7 blocks towards right, so it's positive 7, because gradient is change in y over change in x. So change in x is 7 units. But am I moving in vertical direction? Not at all, nothing. So I have moved 0 units in y direction, so my gradient is 0. So you can clearly see for a horizontal line your gradient is 0, whereas for a vertical line it's undefined. Let me move on to the next question. Question 2. Find the intercepts of the following. Let me just zoom it a little bit. Intercepts of the following. Intercept set means they are asking you to calculate both the intercept, x-intercept and y-intercept. In my theory part, I have explained that x-intercept is the value of x at which the straight line is cutting the x-axis, whereas y-intercept is the point where the straight line is cutting the y-axis. So I have to define y-intercept and x-intercept for this graph. Clearly, y it's cutting at 4. So y-intercept would be 4. And x-intercept, it is cutting, it's just like a thick line actually, but it's passing through 4 as well here. So I would say x-intercept be 4 as well. For the next one, y-intercept would be, now look at for the next one. Here, y-intercept, definitely it's not cutting a y-axis at any point. For part B I'm saying. So definitely I can say that no intercept, no y-intercept here in this case. No y-intercept. X-intercept, it is cutting at 4. Like these lines are a little bit thicker, so it would be difficult to understand, but it's actually passing through 4. So x-intercept would be 4. Now y-intercept, here you can clearly see it's cutting y at -6, so it's going to be -6. And for x-intercept, it is cutting at 5 because it's just at the mid of 4 and 6, which is 5. Moving on to the next question. Question 3. Find the equation of the line from given graph. So we have to find the equation of the line from given graph. I told you what you have to do is whenever you are calculating the equation of any curve, doesn't matter if it's a straight line or any curve, first write down the standard equation. Standard equation of a straight line is y is equals to mx plus c. So we have to calculate only two values. We have to calculate the gradient and y-intercept. Y-intercept is very easy to calculate because you can clearly see it's cutting at 6. So C would be 6. If you haven't, if you're not aware of the theory, I have already made the theory. You can just go back and see that one. The theory is a straight line equations and graph theory. And still, if you think that you don't have much time, even with the help of these worksheets, I'll try to explain the theory as much as possible. So whenever you are finding equation from a straight line that's given on the graph, you have to calculate gradient and y-intercept only, m and c. C represents y-intercept, and y-intercept is where the straight line is cutting y-axis. Here it's cutting at 6, so C is 6. Gradient is same, change in y over change in x, and to calculate it, let me pick two different points. Let me say one point be at this, which is 0,6. And next point would be here. This is more, you can choose any 2 point, but try to find those points which have integers in it, rather than if you find here, this would be 4.5, right? So it would be better. And if you are not sure whether it's exactly 4.5 or 4.6, better is to choose those 2 points which will give you perfect integers. So like this one, definitely this will give you 10 comma -7. So change in y over change in x, let me say this is my y2. So 6 minus -7. This is the most common mistake a student does, is using the negative sign. It creates problem. So 6 minus -7 over change in x-axis. So x2 is this 0. If you are picking this as y2, then definitely the corresponding value will be x2. And gradient is change in y over change in x, or in gradient form, it would be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So 6 minus -7 over 0 minus 10. Here, 6 plus 7 over -10. This is 13 over -10 or -1.3. So better is whenever you are writing the equation of a straight line, don't use the decimals. Instead, use the fractions, because if you have seen the standard equations, they don't have decimals in it, they have fractions in it. So I'm using the fractional one, which is negative 13 over 10 as gradient. So finally, once I have calculated the value of m and c, I need to substitute it. So y is equals to negative 13 over 10x plus c is 6. This is my final equation. Moving on to the next part, and I have to do the same thing here as well. That means I need to calculate m and c. C is clearly negative 3. So C is negative 3, no doubt. M is change in y over change in x. Let me let me pick 2 points. One point be this one, 0 comma negative 3. And another point would be this, which is 9 comma 2. Now change in y over change in x, y2 minus y1 or x2 minus x1 would be 2 minus minus 3 over 9 minus 0. This will be minus will become plus. So 2 plus 3 is 5. Whenever there is a negative sign outside the bracket, it will get multiplied. So this would be 5 over 9 as the gradient, and c is y-intercept. Put in the formula, y is equals to mx, 5 over 9x plus c, negative 3. This is the final equation of a straight line. Moving on to the next question. Question 4 says that an equation of a line y equals 3x minus 1 is given. Complete the table. So first thing is complete the table. Completing, that means they have already given us the value of x. We need to calculate the value of y after substituting here in this equation, which means, let me write down the equation that is given. Y equals 3x minus 1. Now x is 2, so I need to substitute x as 2 in this equation. So in place of x, I'll substitute 2 minus 1. So 6 minus 1 is 5. So I'll write 5 here. Similarly, we just need to substitute 4 here. So y is equals to 3 into 4 minus 1. According to Bottomos, obviously we have to multiply first. So 4 times 3, 12. 12 minus 1 would give you 11. Similarly, 6 into 3, 18 minus 1, 17. Next is 8 into 3, 24 minus 1, 23. Next, 10 into 3, 30 minus 1, 29. So we have completed the table. Part B says, hence plot the straight line in the above graph. So we just need to find the coordinates. We already have, just on the graph we need to locate them. So at x equals 2, y is 5 here. At x equals 4, y is 11. It's going up there. It keeps on increasing and it's hard that we can get any other value. So what we can do in this case, it's 1. So let me make it 11 here. So it would be now at 4, you will get 11 here like this. And again at 6, it would be 17. So obviously I can't, because it's going beyond the graph. So only join these 2 points and we'll get the straight line. That's all we can do at this point of time. And if you want one more point, you can pick from your side. Let me put x equals 0. And at x equals 0, 3 into 0, 0 minus 1. Y is minus 1. See, it will be 3 into 0, 0 minus 1 is minus 1. So y will be minus 1 at x equals 0. That means this point. So just at least we got our third point. Join them together, you will get the straight line. This is our required straight line. See this question number 5. The equation of a straight line 7x plus y equals 9 is given. We have to complete the table. In this table, only 3 coordinates are given, 0, 1, 2. So what I need to do is, first let me make y the subject. So it would be y is equals to 9 minus 7x. I just transport 7 there. It will become minus 7x. Put 7 equals 0. X equals 0. So y is equals to 9 minus 7 into 0. It's 9. So let me write 9. Next is y is equals to 9 minus 7 into 1, which is 2. So answer is 2. Then next is 9 minus 7 into 2. 9 minus 14. So minus 5. So answer will be -5. So the next is we have completed the table. B says hence plot the straight line in the graph. So on plotting the straight line, the coordinates are at x equals 0, y is 9. That means here. This is first point. At x equals 1, y is 2. It just come down very fast. So at here, and at 2 equals, this is going to be -5. -5 is here. Now what you need to do is just join them together. We'll get the straight line. This is the required straight line. Moving on to the next question. This is example of real life graph. So see this one. A man gets 40 pounds per hour and 5 pounds extra every hour. That means ultimately he is actually getting 45 pounds every hour. If he is working for 1 hour, he will get 45 pounds. If he'll work for 2 hours, he will get 90 pounds. And accordingly, the part 1 says complete the table. So you just need to complete the table ultimately. So if he will work for 1 hour, he will get 45 pounds. If he'll work for 2 hours, obviously 2 hours is what? 80 plus 5. Okay, here that means 5 pounds he is getting extra for every hour. It's not that if he's working 3 hours and he'll getting 5 pounds per extra. He is getting 5 pounds per extra every hour for working an hour. That's the meaning of this one. So man gets 40 pounds per hour. That's why it's described as per hour, and 5 pounds per extra. So that means for if he's working for 2 hours, it will be 45 into 2, 90. For 3 hours, it will be 135. For 4 hours, it's going to be 180, and for 5 it will give you 225. This is how we have to complete the table. Part B says plot the graph on the above grid. So we have to plot the graph. For 1 hour, if he's working for 1 hour, he will get 45. So this is 1 hour, and 45 would be, if you see that every one block in vertical direction represents 20 pounds. This is 20 pounds, 20 pounds, 20 pounds. So 45 would be, 40 is definitely here, and 5 would be somewhere here. So sorry, this is going to be the first point. Next is for 2 hours, it would be 90. So 290 would be, this is going to be 80, as each represents 20. So 80 and 90 would be just at the mid. This will be. Then for 3 hours, it will be 135. For 3 hours, 135 would be here somewhere. For 4 hours, 180. For 4 hours, 180 here. For 5 hours, 225. For 5 hours, it would be 225. It would be here. Somehow, you can say. Now, we need to join them together to get the answer. Now, moving on to the next one. It says find the amount he will get for working 8 hours. For working 8 hours, that means this is 8 hours. He has to draw a vertical line first till it touches the straight line, and then a horizontal line. So let me do this one. After drawing vertical line, then and horizontal, I can see that the value is 360. That means after working for 8 hours, he'll get 360 pounds. Now the next is, if he has to earn 380, how many hours he has to work? That means 380. This is 380 clearly, because every block in vertical direction represents 20. So it's going to be 380 as it represents 20. So this is 380. We have to draw a horizontal line and then a vertical line. So we have drawn a horizontal line at 380 and then drawn a vertical line. This will give you approximately 8.3, 8.4 something, 8.23. So I can say approximately 8.4. We can write say somewhere between 8.3 to 8.4 according to the graph. Well calculation we can do easily algebraically and we can get the perfect answer, but this is all about looking from the graph. So you can say approximately we'll get between 8.3 to 8.4 hours he has to work approximately. The graph shows the number of ants increasing every day in a particular area. Now using this graph, it's specifically mentioned, find the number of ants on 10th day. On 10th day, same thing what we need to do is we just need to draw a vertical line first at 10 because this represents days. Actually, this is the days that represents and it is the number of ants that are represented. Now at 10th day, I need to draw a vertical line and then a horizontal line. Well, without doing it, I can clearly see that the number of ants are going to be 90, but still we have to show it on graph. So I drew the vertical line first on 10th day till it touches the straight line, and then we need to draw a horizontal line, and we can clearly see it's at 90. So the number of ants at 10th day will be 90. It says find how many ants have increased from day 4 to day 8. So what I need to do, I need to calculate the number of ants at day 4. Here doing the same, draw the vertical line then an horizontal line, and at 8 this one, same, draw horizontal line then a vertical line will give me the number of ants on 8th day. Well, it's very easy. Just if you look at the graph, you can understand that at 4th day it's 30, at 8th day it's 70, but still for the better clarification, let me draw the straight lines. So we can see that at 4th day, so we can write here at 4th day there are 30 ants. At 8th day there are 70 ants. So how many ants have increased now? 70 minus 30, that is 40 ants. So from day 4 to 8, 40 ants have increased so far. Find the equation of this straight line. Equation of this straight line is, you already have few points. So it's very easy to calculate the gradient. This point we just calculated. What this point is? It's 4, 30. And another point we can take it here, which is 1, 0. Let me calculate the gradient, because I told you to calculate equation, what we have to do is y is equals to mx plus c. So gradient is change in y over change in x. That means 30 minus 0 over 4 minus 1. So 30 minus 0 over 4 minus 1. So 30 by 3, that is 10. And y-intercept, where it's cutting y-axis. Obviously here it's not clear, but we know that if you extend it somewhere down there, it will intersect. But if you don't have that intercept directly, what you can do is you can just substitute any point in this. What we have to, you can refer my parallel line, perpendicular line video. There I have explained you how you can calculate the equation of a line algebraically. Here this is, once we have the value of gradient, put it in place of m. This is going to be y equals 10x plus c. Let me substitute any coordinate. It's totally on us which coordinate we want to select. We can select 0, 1 as well. Any point will work. So let me put 1, 0 because 1, 0 is lying on this straight line. 1, 0 is a coordinate, which means x is 1 and y is 0. That's the meaning. And I can substitute this value in this equation, and because this point is lying on that equation, it will satisfy. That means x and y value is a part of this equation. So just put x equals 1 and y equals 0. On putting y equals 0, it is 0. X equals 1, 10 into 1 plus c. You will get c equals negative 10. Final equation is, this is another way. If you don't have direct intercept, you can just substitute the value to get the intercept. Final equation will be y is equals to 10x minus 10. This is final equation of our straight line. Part D. Hence find. Hence. The meaning of hence, that means you have to use the equation of a straight line to get the value. So we have calculated equation as 10x minus 10. Find approximately how many days will it take. X represents the number of days, because you can clearly see on x-axis the number of days are plotted, on y-axis number of ants are plotted. That means if you want to calculate the number of days, you have to calculate x, and number of ants are 500. That means value of y is 500 given. So substitute the value of y as 500, 10x minus 10. Bring it here, 510. Whenever we transpose, negative changes to positive. 510 is equals to 10x and x is equals to 510 over 10, 51 days. So it will take 51 days to become 500 in number. Moving on to the next question. This is question number 8. The equation of a line 2y is equals to 4x plus 2 is given. You need to complete the table. First of all, we need to make y the subject, and in order to do so, just divide both the sides by 2. Your final equation is going to be y is equals to 2x plus 1. Then start substituting the value. Let me put negative 6 here. So y is equals to 2 into negative 6 plus 1. Negative 12 plus 1, negative 11. So here it will be negative 11. Next is y is equals to 2 into negative 4 plus 1. Negative 8 plus 1, negative 7. Y is equals to 2 into negative 2 plus 1. So negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. Y is equals to 2 into 0. I am writing it up here. 2 into 0 plus 1, which is plus 1. It's basic calculation. Now let me put 2 here. So in the same, I need to put 2. So y is equals to 2 into 2 plus 1, which is 5. Then y is equals to 4 into 2 plus 1, which is 9. And then y is equals to 6 into 2 plus 1, which is 13. Now we have completed this. Only we need to plot them. But here it says complete the table that we did and calculate the gradient of this straight line. Even it's not mandatory to draw the straight line, but still let me draw it to get a better idea of the gradient. So negative 6 comma negative 11. If you don't want it, it's perfectly fine. You cannot, like, it's not necessary at all. If it's not mentioned that you have to draw the straight line, don't do that. So if you want to calculate, we just calculate the gradient of this straight line directly. Let me take any 2 points. Let's say 2 comma 5, I'm taking 1 point, and second is 4 comma 9, I'm taking another point. So y2 minus y1, 9 minus 5 over x2 minus x1, 4 minus 2. This is 4 over 2, that is 2. So even if it's not mentioned, it's perfectly fine. You need not to draw. If it's written, then you can draw it. Or if you want, if you have spare time, you can do it, else it's completely fine. Question 9 says a car has completed its journey and graph is given for that. This is the graph given. We have to complete it. At 50. 50 is here. So what I need to do, I need to draw a horizontal line and then a vertical line. This value will give you approximately, you can say, you'll get 150. At 80, you'll get 250. 400, that means here 400, and then need to draw a vertical line. It will be 125. So 125. Then 600, that means draw horizontal line and then vertical line. So it's between 180 and 190. I can say 185. And at 200, that means this is 200. So this is 650. So we have completed the table. Calculate the velocity of the car. Velocity, it's actually between displacement and time. If you don't know what value you will get, mostly they always ask you about the gradient. This is the best way to know what the gradient of any graph will give. Gradient is change in y. Keep in mind, because I take online classes as well, and what I've seen that when I explain this one, even after the students face problem while understanding this is very simple concept. What's the formula of gradient? Change in y or change in x. That's it. And if you want to know what will be the value of gradient, not 1 2 3, I mean what will be the perimeter of the gradient will give you. You can just need to substitute the value what is written on y-axis, what is written on x-axis. Gradient is change in y over change in x. So Same here also, gradient will be change in y. What is written on y-axis? Displacement. So change in displacement over change in x. What is written on x-axis? It's time. So time, displacement over time is velocity. That means gradient is actually the velocity of this graph. Okay, so they are asking calculate the velocity of the car. That means they are asking you to calculate the gradient. That's it. So what I'm doing, I'm just picking these two values, 0 comma 0. These are perfect values, and this is 200 comma 650. So change in y over change in x, that I'm writing here 650 minus 0 over 200 minus 0. That will give you 13 over 4 as the gradient. So gradient or velocity is 13 over 4. Next it says find the equation of this straight line. You can clearly see y is equals to mx plus c. Gradient we just calculated 13 over 4. And y-intercept is what? Is touching at 0. So c is 0. So y is ultimately 13 over 4x. Next is, and hence calculate the time taken by this car when its displacement is 2 kilometers. And hence that means you're supposed to use this equation. You have to calculate the displacement. Displacement is on y-axis. That means you have to calculate y. Time you have to calculate when displacement is given as 2000. That means x you have to calculate and y is already given. So y is in meters. So let me convert kilometer into meters. 2000 is equal to 13 over 4x. So x is 2000. I just cross multiplied, simple. 2000 into 4 over 13. And you will get your answer as 615.4 seconds. It will take 615.4 seconds to cover a displacement of 2000 meters, or you can say 2 kilometers. So that's it for today. That was all in this sheet. In the next class, we'll be continuing with the sheet and some more concepts. So that's it for today. Thank you. Bye.